Welcome to another episode of the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Shout out to all the fam tuning in, man. We appreciate you guys always locking in every single week with us here. I'm Meah Evans, and as always, I got the great, the incomparable Ace Harris with me. What's going on, Ace?
I'm not gonna accept it, but thank you. Appreciate you.
Don't do that. You just me my flowers
every
week.
Good. That's all good.
You feeling good? You had a good week?
Oh, it's good. Just a lot on the plate, but also, like I said, weekends be chilling, resting with the family.
Yeah.
Thankful to be busy because there's some people who don't have options because they're not busy because they're trying to do more stuff. So I'm not complaining. I'm grateful and just working. Yeah, feeling pretty good.
That's good, man. Listen, we have a great episode for you guys. I'm gonna kick off this episode with a quick story, Ace.
Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna hear this.
So, of course, I've been doing in the radio industry for like 11 or so years.
Veteran, yeah.
You're so funny. But my sister and I, shout out to Misa, we frequent an event called the Dove Awards in Nashville, Tennessee. And one year, we was first starting out, right? And we wanted to get on the red carpet until we figured out you had to get approved to be on the red carpet.
Right.
So we knew some people, and if you were to ask me, I would say we finessed our way on the red carpet. Weren't supposed to be there. Others would say we snuck on, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But when we were on the red carpet, this was probably I want to say maybe 8-9 years ago, we met this artist who we found out finessed his way on the carpet too. You know what I'm saying? And we bonded over that. And ever since meeting this artist, he would come to town, would do shows at the Westin Mall, and would have, a couple people in the crowd, and saw him grow over time to having a couple Billboard number ones, to win a couple of Dove Awards, to traveling, doing arena tours, and has always been the same consistent dude, man. Like fam, for real. And he's here on the 116 Live. Shout out to Aaron Cole.
Yeah, what up?
In the building, bro.
W story. That's the W story.
Man, we bond over that. I could never forget that, bro. How are you feeling, man?
I feel good. Thank y'all for having me.
You just got back from vacation. In Antigua. Talk about how that was for you.
Yeah. That was actually a minute ago. I just got to post about it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
About the album. But we had fun. It was super fire. Antigua was fire. It was super dope.
Was your first time going?
Yeah, it was the first time in Antigua.
Now, are you the type of person where you want to relax on vacation, or you want to go out do some excursions?
No, I'm relaxed for sure.
Really? You don't want to bungee jump or nothing? No parasailing?
Really,
nothing?
not the adventurous type?
Absolutely not.
I'm with you. Me and him, we can hang there.
Yeah.
All that crazy stuff. Yeah, chill.
Let's
some food, chill.
Chill by the beach.
You ain't swim or nothing?
You know what I'm saying? I got no water. You know what I'm saying? But
you ain't swimming though.
Nah.
me, you can hang.
Yeah.
I ain't with all that swimming because I can't. But
not with the swimming. I'm just let me feel the water. You know what I'm saying? Get the heat off of me. Like that's my vibe. That's my vibe.
I feel that. I would swim, but I swim like a rock, so I'm not even gonna get into that.
Swim like a rock is crazy. Just sinking. Cornerstone vibes.
Bro, talk about describe this season of life you're in right now. You've been going on the move, hustling, bustling. Talk about the season of life you're in right now. Describe it for us.
Yeah. I just put out an album. I'm, you know what I'm saying, newly married, 2 years into the thing. So, man, I just feel like I'm in a season of growing, season of growing up, season of, you know what I'm saying, just figuring out things and, you know what I'm saying, trying to just, I don't know, live my best life. You know what I mean? I put in a lot of work, like you said, just over the years. So I just feel like now it's just kind of figuring out the coast, but also keeping the hunger at the same time.
Figuring out the coast and keeping the hunger.
Yeah.
How do you do that? What's the remedy for that?
Man, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. My friends always tell me I kind of got the Michael Jordan syndrome. So I'm like, I'm always kind of like that a little bit. I take things personal sometimes. I'm like, yo, whatever it is, if I feel like someone is doubting me for 1 second, I'm like, nah, I'm back at it. I gotta prove myself I'm 15 again. When it's nah, you don't gotta do that. I'm kind of just trying to figure out the balance of, you know what I'm saying, letting God just work for me. Right. Also, you know what I'm saying, me keeping the hunger at the same time.
For sure.
It's a balance that I'm still trying to figure out. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah, that's real. I want to say, with the album being titled, and we're gonna talk more about the album because we can't let that slide. Talk about the album.
Yeah.
With it being entitled "Sorry I Changed," what are some of those changes you would say that you kind of went through recently?
Yeah, so I feel just off top, this is the new season. This is my first album away from Reach Records.
Right.
So that's kind of the biggest change for the world to see because I signed to them was 16, 17. Yeah, and so my first single came out 18, all that stuff, and so. being 25 now, it's just like that was the first big change for everybody, just seeing me move into a, you know what I'm saying, another space. So on top of that, like I said, the marriage thing, like I'm a homeowner, like, you know what I'm saying?
Huge,
Like,
man.
yeah, like all those things, like just, I don't know, basis level changes. But I also feel like God was just showing me that like going through real life changes you. And so like I just been going through a lot of like real life situation of like losing friendships, like losing family members, you know what I mean? Like dealing with, I don't know, family drama, like the whole nine. Like I've been going through all those things, and I just feel like, man, God was showing me like, man, real life changes you in ways that you never would have imagined. And then the last layer is just kind of like, it's the gospel too, you know what I'm saying? Because when you come to know God, and, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like when you come to know God, and like it's some things that you just gotta let go, you know what I mean? And that's where the sorry comes from too, because it's like it's some remorse there, you know what I mean? It's like it's people that's like still doing the same things that we was doing in high school, you know what I mean? And it's just like, man, I don't got time. Like, I don't got time for this no more.
Can you sorry, I don't want to. When you say sorry,
yeah,
is it almost like a lament for them?
Yeah, almost. It's like it's like sorry, not sorry, but I'm sorry that it's like you don't get it. You know what I mean?
Sorry for you.
Yeah, sorry. Like, I'm sorry.
You're not sorry.
Yeah, I'm not really sorry, because I know that, you know what I'm saying, God has called me to change. I know that God has called me to,
like
you know what I'm saying, go to another level. But it's just like, man, like it's remorse that comes with that, because it's just like I got like I said, I got friends. I got things about myself that, you know what I'm saying, you might not feel like you want to let go, but you feel like, man, you gotta let this go in order for you to go to another level. So it's just like, I'm sorry, but at the same time, I'm not sorry, because I know I have to go to this place.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the whole thing in it. Just so
Yeah, dive into that about that caught my attention. You letting things go.
yes.
What has that been like? Like what were the things you had to let go?
Crazy. I just feel like, I don't know. Ever since a kid, like I've been talking to like a lot of my friends about this, like just because things were centered around me a lot, like my struggle was always just like pride, and like not pride in a way of like, okay, I'm better than everyone else, but like more so me just thinking everything's about me, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like just growing up and realizing when it's like, man, it's not about you. It's just like, that's something that's hard to let go. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's hard to let go, to be like, man, like really none of this is about you. You know what I'm saying? Even the music, like even the whatever, it's like it's not about you. At the end of the day, like it's about God and you know what I'm saying, reaching his people, the whole nine. And you know what I'm saying? Like that was kind of like the biggest thing for me that I had to let go. But it's like, it's of course every single day, like I just feel like I'm finding out things like about myself that it's like, oh, okay, cool, like, you know what I'm saying, I gotta work on this. Or I'm one of the things that like my friends say is like they love that I'm always like ready for the smoke. I'm like, if it's something about me, like, you know what I'm saying, you're not rocking with, like just have a conversation about it. I'll be like, okay, cool, like, you know what I'm saying, like I like that kind of friendship, because I feel like we all trying to be like, you know what I'm saying, better people. We all trying to like every day trying to be more like God. So I'm like we gotta have that community of just like, yo, let's be honest with each other of like what we need to grow in and stuff like that. And so yeah, like that's been like the journey for me, just figuring out the, you know what I'm saying, things that God wants me to grow in, and having community around me to help that too.
Was there a moment that you can pinpoint recently where it was like, oh, I guess I'm kind of realizing it's not about me? Was there something that happened specifically? Or was like any circumstances that kind of brought that to life? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know if it was more so a circumstance. I think, like you said, it was just, like I said, I was just kind of like friends, like we having conversations with people. Like I would do this thing of like, almost like if I'm having a conversation with someone and let's say they talking about like, oh man, I love this person, I love that person, I love that person. I would be the person that would be like, man, you ain't say me, like, you know what I'm saying?
Got it.
Like, so you must feel like I'm not fire like that. You know what I'm saying?
So
it's like,
so someone else celebrating someone else's wins seem like you're saying you would internalize it.
I would internalize it as I'm not that great. You know what I mean? Like it's like, which is, I've never said that before publicly. It's like, this is good. I mean, it's good. Like, it's good. It's like, cause it's something that definitely like through therapy, like through, I think just because like we haven't got into it, but like I started rapping when I was 3. I started singing when I was 7. And so like my parents, like, and we'll get into that too, like they just kind of put everything like into me, you know what I mean? And so like just not realizing it, it's just like kind of like I kind of made myself like feel like, okay, yeah, nah, it's about me, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And so
that's one thing about child Stars.
Yeah.
But it could be a whole like documentary.
Nah, for real.
No,
like
facts.
Child entertainment.
Yeah.
And you bring it into the Christian space,
Right.
where like you've been basically on a platform since you were 16.
Yeah, crazy.
And so imagine having a platform where everybody's telling you, you're great, you're dope, you're amazing, you're dope, you're great.
Right.
At some point,
someone's like, man, like, I feel like they're great, boo, 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 and they're not. It's really crazy to think about now.
Sure,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like, yo, they're talking about them and you're taking it as a, you know what I'm saying, problem. It's like, man, that's a problem. So I'm just thankful that, you know what I'm saying, God brought me out of that. Like, he kept people around me, you know what I'm saying, a community around me, like spiritual mentors, like just to be like, you know what I'm saying, grinding me every day of just like, nah, like we, you know what I'm saying, we working on this to become better people and be more like Jesus every day. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the place I'm at now, yeah. So
sheesh, bro. When it comes to your mentor, I want to shout out him because I know that he's played a part in your life over some time. Yeah. Did you always know you wanted a mentor, or like was he just always in your life? Just talk about how it's been being like mentor discipled even in a sense.
Shout out EJ. I definitely didn't always want that for sure.
EJ Gaines?
EJ Brown. No. Okay, yeah. But yeah, so like EJ used to be honestly a hype man for Canon back in the day. Yeah, and so we met at a show when I was like 16, 17. And from there, like we just became cool, and it kind of just gradually started, you know what I'm saying, coming that way. Like it just gradually like built into like him discipling me, him just like walking through life with me until all the way now. Like he was the person that married me. Like he was the person that, you know what I'm saying, just been in my life. We did the Devo together. Like, you know what I'm saying, we got the Sorry I Changed Devo on the Bible app. So it's just kind of like, man, like just having that thing, just it changed a lot for me. You know what I'm saying? Just having someone. I've always kind of like had like OGs, like, you know what I'm saying, from Toby to Derek Minor, you know what I'm saying, that I just kept around me to keep me from pitfalls and stuff like that. But it's different when it's like a spiritual mentor, you know what I'm saying, to help me navigate. Like I remember I had a show, I forgot the arena, but it's a show out here we had in Atlanta with Toby in the arena, and EJ pulled up because he was living in Atlanta at the time. He was just like, yeah, we about to go downtown and like just pray for people, you know what I'm saying, right before the arena show. It was stuff like that he was like molding me and shaping me to do. It was just like, like you definitely gonna be on the arena stage, but we definitely about to be out here praying for people. And like, you know what I'm saying, I was rapping for people on the street, and it was kind of like, man, just seeing like the impact of, you know what I'm saying, firsthand combat of like impact of like seeing someone come down the street and being like, I'm telling you about God, but I'm also gonna rap a verse to you to see, like, you know what I'm saying, it's cool to be a Christian, whatever. It's like, man, that's kind of the things that he taught me. So yeah, shout out EJ. Like I think it's super important to have like a spiritual mentor in your life, just to kind of like help you walk through life. You know what I mean?
It elevates growth too. You know what I'm saying? It's like having someone in your corner, being that other mirror who can be able to tell you, hey, yo, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? Or even be able to be the extra mode of encouragement could be even detailed. And when we come back in this next segment, I want to dive into young A. Cole. And I mean like young A. Cole, like 3-piece suit, like Jesus is the Rock type A. Cole. So we'll be right back here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM. We'll be right back. And we're back here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Meah Evans, Ace Harris checking in with Aaron Cole in the building. I want to talk about something that I really admire is that I love when shout out to your parents for capturing all these like nostalgic moments when you were like a kid. I don't know, I'm really big on like nostalgic. Like I'm always pulling out like old family photos, things like that. Right. So seeing the genesis of when you started was so fire. Do you have a early memory? Like what's your earliest memory of you rapping? Because I know you said you started when you were 3. So what do you remember?
I don't know, just because it's been documented, I'm like, I feel like I remember those things. Okay. It's crazy. But my dad actually got saved at a Christian hip hop concert back in Bristol, Virginia. And so from there, he just kind of like was passionate about doing music to reach people. Because, you know what I'm saying, it was like for him seeing somebody that dressed like him but was, you know what I'm saying, passionate about God, it was just kind of like he wanted to do that. And so my uncle used to be a Christian rapper back, like I said, back in Bristol. And me just being young, I would be in his sessions and I started like mocking his lyrics and the whole nine. And so they was just like, all right, cool. Like, so they just wrote me a rap. It was like, Jesus is the Rock, holla if you feel me type vibe. You know what I mean?
Holla if you feel me.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm with it.
So like from there, like we would do shows in the area, you know what I'm saying? Just grinding and doing it for fun.
Doing these shows? How old were you at the time?
Yeah, I was like 4 or 5, like doing these shows. Yeah. Rapping, yeah.
You have no fright? You just...
No, bro, which was crazy. I feel like I was more like not nervous then than I am now, low-key.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I always be trying to get back to that place because I, you know what I'm saying, I see videos of myself back then. I'm just like, man, like I had no worries at all. Like even when talking to my pops, he was like, you was never like scared to get on stage. So it's just like,
crazy.
I just feel like this is what I'm called to do for sure. And so then, yeah, like we was doing that. And then at 7, I grew up in church. Like my granddad was a pastor. You know what I'm saying? My whole family was the praise team type vibe. And so it was one Sunday where my uncle, he was singing I Will Bless the Lord by Byron Cage.
Yeah,
And he kept messing up the lyrics. And so after church, I was like, man, like you singing it wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what you got going on? I was like 7 years old. He's like, man, next time I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna throw the mic to you. Like, and I'm like, I'm thinking he playing. Next Sunday, like they threw me the mic and then they just like, man, yeah, you in the praise team. So from there, like just being
praise team at 7 is wild.
Crazy. So
like the adult, you was the main service.
Yeah, main service, yeah, for sure.
You was lead?
Yeah, I would lead. I would lead. I would bless the Lord. That was my first song.
Can you imagine like little Aaron Cole up there?
Crazy. Yeah,
you were exhortating and stuff too, like
bro, all that. Yeah, like I grew up like on the worship team, whatever. So, yeah, from there I started singing. But still, like I was just doing that in church. So like I really didn't start doing that into my music until like I signed to Toby and I was in a session and I just kind of like started singing. Everybody was just kind of like, wait, like you sing too, like you know what I'm saying. Toby first signed me as a rapper, and
how did Toby find you? What was that?
Yeah. So there was this guy in our hometown. His name was Chris Crockett.
Chris Crockett.
Yeah. Shout out Chris.
What a name.
Right. He was the head of FCA in our area.
FCA,
shout out FCA.
Yeah, shout out FCA.
They do great work.
For sure. And so during this whole process of doing music, like we would give him my stuff and stuff like that, and he always knew Toby because of FCA, and he would be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give it to Toby, but you know how that go, like he never did, like you know what I mean? Yeah. And so when I was 15, I put out this EP, which I'll backtrack in a second, but I put out this EP called 15 It's the New 15. And we saw him out and we gave it to him. He's like, I'm gonna give it to Toby. We didn't think about it. The next day he was in the car with Toby. Toby was in town for a show, and so it was already in a CD player. And so Toby was like, who is this? He called my dad on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Chris Crockett. Like, man, I'm with Toby. Like he likes the record. Woo, woo, woo. And I ain't gonna cap at that time. Like I said, I'm probably about 15 years old. I didn't really know who Toby was. Like I grew up on Kirk. I grew up on Fred. I grew up on gospel music. So I didn't really know. So I looked him up. I was like, nah, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So we went out there to, he has a golf camp in Crossville, Tennessee. And so we went out there and I got to meet him and stuff like that. And he was just talking about how he wouldn't put me out until I was 18. And so at that time I was 15.
What was the reason for that?
He just felt like he wanted me to go through life. Like he wanted me to graduate high school. Like, but me, I was like, man, nah, I'm ready now. Like,
yeah,
you know
I remember you saying that. Yeah,
did
did you have like a resentment, or was it like you had like a
frustration?
Frustration, or was it like a pain?
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't resentment. It was more of a frustration. Like, nah, I'm ready now. But then like going through them years, like, nah, I wasn't ready.
Are you grateful that?
So grateful.
Yeah,
bro. Yeah,
what were the signs that you felt like you weren't ready?
I don't know. I just feel like all the things my dad from that point on, my dad put me through boot camp. It's something that we always talk about, like in other things. It's called boot camp. So I would wake up, I would have to read my word, then I would do my chores around the house, and then I would go outside. We had this big old hill outside of my house in Virginia that I would have to run up and rap my performance at the same time. Like,
whoa, yeah, you were doing this at 15?
I was doing this at 15 years old, yeah.
Bro.
So I would rap my whole set while I'm running, and then I would stand at the top of the hill and perform my set as like people was coming in.
You got one of those dads.
Yeah.
Like
so when I told him that this is what I wanted to do, he was just like, all right, bet. And then we got the deal, and it was kind of like figuring out that I was going through, you know what I'm saying, certain things. Just like I had to wait till I was 18. It was just kind of like, nah, we gonna be ready. And so doing all those things and like, you know what I'm saying, learning how to read the Bible for myself, because after that, like I would do my set, I would go shower, and then I would have a meeting with my dad every day. And I would have to tell him what I read, like tell him, you know what I'm saying, like, and that just kind of taught me of like, basically like getting revelations for myself. Like
that's fire.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
like
fire.
I had never done that before. It was kind of like I went to church, like whatever. If I read my word, it would just be like whatever. I know a scripture, but like it kind of taught me to like, you know what I'm saying, read the word, get revelations for myself, let the Holy Spirit speak to me, all those things. And so all those things like I had never done before. So I'm like, I mean, you know, like being out here, like talking to people, like, you know what I'm saying, being on stage, like if I didn't have that piece, like I definitely wasn't ready. You know what I mean? But then also just going through life, going through school, like going through all those things. It's like it just kind of prepared me for
how was it being at school? Did people know you were signed?
People knew I did music, but people didn't know I was signed.
Why was you kept it like that?
Yeah, I kept it like that.
Wow, pretty admirable, bro.
Yeah, I kept it like that. And then so here's the thing, like like I said, I thought I was ready. And so my sophomore year when I signed, like I said, I kept it to myself. And I just begged my parents to let me go homeschool. And so I went homeschooled. I did my junior and my senior year in the same year. I was like, I'm about to kill this school. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to kill this school so that I can graduate high school and he can put me out early. Like that was my plan. That was my plan.
You trying to finesse the system?
I try to finesse the system.
Been finessing ever since.
I try to finesse, and it did not happen. You know what I mean? Like
so you did all that for nothing.
Yeah.
Not for nothing,
but yeah, he definitely like. We still waited till I was 18, and so bro, that year was crucial. I tell this story a lot, but I'll tell it for anybody that hasn't heard it. And during that year, when I graduated, so at this point, I'm just kind of like focused on music. I'm going back and forth to Nashville, and then like just my dad also too, just trying to teach me things. I picked up a job at the Boys and Girls Club. You know what I'm saying? That was my first and only job that I did besides music. And so in that time, I had got into a relationship, right? And so my dad was just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? You don't think this is a coincidence? Like you getting in a relationship right before like, and I was like, nah, like we good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so long story short, like we was in this relationship. At the end of it, like my pops was like, man, like you need to take a break. Like you need to, you know what I'm saying, focus, like boo, 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 boo. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, like, but I didn't take a break. I just changed her name on my phone to one of my homeboys' names. So anytime she texts, like, yeah, hey man, y'all don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all real quick. And so anyways, I had a show in Orlando. So it had probably been like 2 weeks since he told me like I needed to take a break, blah, blah, blah. And so I had a show in Orlando and my dad used to cut my hair. And so he was cutting my hair. And he was just like, man, you been talking to that girl. And I was just kind of like, man, sometimes like, you know what I'm saying? She sent me scriptures in the morning, like, whoa, you know what I'm saying?
She in line with the plan. She in line.
And he was just like, man, like I'm telling you, like, woo, you need to like cut that out, get focused. Like, you know what I'm saying? You about to go to a new level, boo, boo, boo. Like you need to focus. And so I'm still not listening, bro. Like I'm still not listening.
Right.
And it was honestly a year in Orlando where it was a hurricane on the way. So they canceled the show. And so we had to leave to go drive back to Bristol that morning from Orlando. And so that night, we went out with one of his friends who was a stylist at the time, right? So we was out, we was chilling, you know what I'm saying? I'm on the phone, like, I'm texting her. I honestly don't know how her name got from my homeboy's names to her real name, but it went back to her real name. I don't know. Maybe I was feeling myself. I was like, it don't matter. Whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, we talking to the stylist, like, they talking about me, like, oh, like, we need you to help him with some stuff. And so he was like, yeah, like, let me see your Instagram, right? So I gave him my phone. When I gave him my phone, she texted me. Of course, he don't know who it, you know what I'm saying? So he like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? He said her name. He like, oh, shorty texting. I'm like, damn. So I just get the look from my pops, you know what I'm saying? We get in the whip, like, he going crazy, like, you know what I'm saying?
Was she like not good for your walk at the time? Was y'all?
Yeah, I just feel like she was like sent to distract me. Like it had nothing to do with her. It was more so like we don't battle against flesh and blood, you know what I'm saying? It was more like it was in a spirit, like she was sent to like, you know what I'm saying, just get me off track before, you know what I'm saying, the things that I've been doing. And so so the next morning we got in the car, we driving back to Bristol. It's a 10-hour drive. The first 5 hours, he don't say nothing to me. He don't say a word to me. We not talking or not nothing. We stop at a gas station. I remember it like it was yesterday. We stop at a gas station. And he was like, he get back in the car. He on the phone with my mom. She's like, you know how parents are. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with your son. Like, ooh, he don't listen. Blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get off the phone. He like, look, man. Like, I'm gonna always be your dad, but like, you continue on this. Like, at that time he was my manager. He's like, I'm not doing this like music thing with you anymore. And so it got real to me, like real quick at that moment. I was just kind of like, okay, like this is more serious than what I'm thinking.
Wow.
And so we get home that night. I wake up, I go to sleep, I wake up, everybody gone from the crib. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, the rapture happened. I'm tripping. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's going on? But now, like, it was like in that moment, I just started, low-key, I started yelling at God. I was just like, man, like, God, if this, it's funny thinking about it now, but I'm like, if this girl not for me, like, let me know. Woo, woo, woo. You know what I'm saying? no cap, I say amen.
Yeah.
My mom at this time, like, my mom had me when I was super young. So like we kind of like feel like we grew up together. You know what I mean? And so my mom was just at this whole time was just like, man, like listen to your dad. Y'all supposed to be together. Y'all be together. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just need to chill, like make a dad happy type vibe. As soon as I say amen this day, my mom texts me like, yo, you need to break up with this girl.
Wow.
Ooh, right. So I'm just like, again, I'm like, she with him. Like,
They
you know
cahoots.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they in cahoots, like
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? I get a call. At this point, I'm 17. Like I'm really about to come out on the later. Like I'm 17. I get a call from a dude I haven't worked with since I was like 13, 14 years old. I haven't talked to him since. You know what I'm saying? He calls me randomly, and I talked to him on the phone. He was just like, man, like how you been? Like whoop whoop. I'm like, I'm good. He was like, man, like I had to call you. He was like, cause last night I had a dream about you, and he was like, you was building a wall. He was like, on the other side of the wall was like everything you work for. Like he was like, I saw Grammys, I saw dubs, I saw big stages, whatever. And he was like, so I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you messing with some girl, but like you need to stop.
Jeez.
Bro, I was spooked out. I was spooked
Dude
out.
called you randomly with the prophecy.
Randomly. And I was just like, dang. So
bro.
from there, you know what I'm saying? I broke up with her. I went to Nashville. I recorded Right on Time.
Whoa, that's insane.
Yeah, and it's been up ever since. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just feel like in that moment, like it's just kind of like, man, for me, like looking back on it now, I kind of just, man, like I get grateful. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'm like, man, God loved me so much
Yeah.
to not let me get in the way of what He wanted to do.
Dude, that's good.
I was like looking back on it now, I'm like, dang, like definitely in the moment I was just like, okay, cool, like God saved me, whatever. But like looking back on it now, I'm just like, man, that's kind of a big deal for God to just be like, man, like, nah, I'm gonna send things to let you know and let you not get in the way of what I got planned for you. You know what I'm saying? And so
How did your relationship with the Lord transform since that moment?
Man, like it transformed a lot because it was just kind of like, man, like, nah, I'm gonna really trust you and I'm gonna really, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And of course, like we have our moments.
Sure.
Like we have our moments where we doubt, but it was just kind of like, man, that's kind of where Right on Time came from. It's just like, man, don't worry. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like that was
Right
a real
on
song.
time.
I know it's a pop song, whatever, but it was like that was a real
No,
moment.
that was real.
Story.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
would have never known. Like,
yeah. That was a
Those
real
lyrics
moment.
came from that
Time,
place.
like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was worrying about if I'm ever
man.
gonna come out on the label. If you know what I'm saying, it was like almost too good to be true. Because like she said, like I was at the West End Mall, like doing shows for nobody. You know what I'm saying? We was sleeping on church floors, like we was all those things just grinding. So I'm like, I'm right there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm about to mess it up, and God be like, you know what I mean? So it changed
I remember
everything.
hearing this story makes me smile because I remember I think it was 2021, 2019. I was in the Dove Awards.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what year it was.
Yeah,
There was a Best New Artist category.
yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
I remember the year, man.
I got
Get
the. Come on, Ace, I got you. And obviously, we advocate for hip hop,
Yeah,
specifically black. We're gonna advocate for our culture,
right.
And they listed the nominees. Man, when they called your name, bro, you was like the happiest kid ever.
It was crazy.
And we were all like, yo, because
Yeah.
it felt like one of us
Nah, for
finally
sure.
is cracking through and being acknowledged
Yeah.
for the work that we do. So
Yeah, bro.
hearing that story made me smile, just knowing what all you've been through to get there.
Nah, bro, that day was like, it's still one of the craziest days because it's like, yeah, like, of course, people would say the things about award shows, whatever, but just like, for me, like, for my family, like, for my story, like, man, it was just a crazy moment, like, to
Right.
see, like, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people going into the thing, like, they was just excited that I was nominated, like, my team, like, whatever, because they just, like, I was up a lot. I was up against a lot of heavy hitters at the
Right.
time, you know what I'm saying? Just in, like, the CCM space,
Sure.
like, the whole nine. So it's just kind of like, people was just had their hopes, like, they kept their expectations low. And so when they called my name, bro, it just felt like everybody won, like, even backstage, like, it was like, man, people was just coming up, like, man, like, it makes it feel possible. And so for me, like, that's all I'm about. Like, coming from a small town in Virginia, It's like me doing these things that I'm doing, it just inspires somebody else to, like, go after their dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go after their goal. And so it's like, yeah, like, bro, that's still a crazy moment for me.
So
just thinking
dope,
about
man.
that for sure.
That's so dope.
And like she said, like, I snuck on the red carpet.
Nah, man, that's you got to get it how you live it now, you know.
Yeah,
But I'm so happy you shared that story, man. When we come back, I want to dive all into the album, man.
Yeah,
Listen,
let's
don't
get
go
it.
anywhere. We'll be right back here on the 116 Live Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. Ace Harris, Meah Evans, Aaron Cole. We'll be right back.
Let's go.
We're back here on the 116 Live here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. We got Aaron Cole in the building. Now it's time. It's time, man. We got to talk about Sorry I Changed.
Let's do it.
And I said this commenting under one of your posts, because of course you're like, you know how like artists, they'll post like my discography, which one is the best, you know? So Aaron posted that, and I'm not going to hold you. What I said was really honest. Like, when your debut album, Not By Chance, was one of my favorite albums, period. I wrote that album for a minute.
Thank you.
And I was always like, you know, nothing can beat this. Nothing beats your debut, you know what I'm saying? It was just a very solid project. And bro, Sorry I Changed is a favorite of mine. Like, that's,
thank you.
It's funny because I was talking to my sister about this, where to me, the projects have like similarities in a sense, but Sorry I Changed sounds like a more mature older brother of Not By Chance to me, like a more grown and evolved album, and it's top for me, for you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
When you look at your projects, even thinking about the evolution of it all, do you see the growth in it, like just embracing all of the changes you've been through as an artist?
Most definitely. I think when I put that out, I was super surprised of how many people was just like had that same like feeling, like Not By Chance was just like the one for them. Like, and I'm just kind of like, man, I mean, you know how it is. Like, when you make a music, like, you don't know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and at that time, like when I put it out, I didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? So like, just looking back on it and people really rocking with something that I did at like 19, 20 years old, it's like, man, that's super crazy. But yeah, like for me now, honestly too, I'm gonna say this too, it was almost called Not By Chance too.
Was it?
Yeah.
Why?
I just felt like it was kind of like that mode again, like what we was talking about, like the Michael Jordan syndrome. Like, I remember Not By Chance, like in that time, like I just felt like, honestly, let's keep it 100, like with the pop songs, but also doing hip hop, it was a lot of talk about me just being a pop artist at that time. Like, if I'm 100, like, and so Not By Chance, I was just feeling like, man, like, no, like I'm an actual like real artist type vibe. So it was like I had my back against the wall on Not By Chance, and then I feel like it was just like, and maybe it was just me in my head, but it was a lot of just chatter of like, oh, okay, like he moving labels, he whatever. It's kind of like it's a wrap for him. Like, he had a good run type vibe, you know what I mean? So it's like, again, like I felt like back against the wall, and so, and also just talking about the real life situation. Like, I went through a lot of just like crazy situations going through like this album, and so yeah, man, like I just feel like this is definitely like more mature version of what I was at that time, just because of the things that I witnessed and I've been through and I've seen in the industry and I've seen, you know what I'm saying, in my personal life. It was just kind of like, man, like Sorry I Changed. It's a new level of me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so. I feel like I had, I think I texted you, I can't, or DM'd or whatever, but I was writing to the album. I thought maturity is the word that came to me. It was just like I heard a lot of growth. Yeah, subject matter was fresh, and then the album sonically was cohesive. Yeah, it felt like you was very intentional with all the tracks
for sure.
I want to talk about a few of them though. Yeah, how did something about the name, and I love it. Tell me about both of those songs, how they came about.
Okay. So with something about the name, I honestly made probably in like 2020. Okay. Yeah, I made something about the name in 2020. We did a sample and all that. Like, I just kind of told Cole, my producer. Shout out to Cole, my producer. Yeah, Saint X. But he been doing my music, like my main producer, since I was like 18. So yeah, we just been working whatever. And so I told him like I wanted to sample something, you know what I'm saying, classic like that. Sent him something about the name. He sampled it. We had that, you know what I'm saying. But it just never came out. It just never.
Was that? Why not?
I don't know. I feel like I definitely like did fine tweaks. Like, you know how I go. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? At that time, I just kind of felt like, I don't know, it wasn't ready yet, whatever it may be. And so coming into the new label, like they heard that song. And it was just like, oh yeah, nah, like this
no brainer.
Yeah. It just kind of felt like the time. And so yeah, that's kind of how it came about. I really was just passionate about doing something like I said, I grew up Church of God in Christ. I didn't say that, but I grew up Kojic.
Shout out Kojic, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up Kojic. And so like I grew up listening to that music, like growing up on gospel. And so I wanted to do that. And then we did that. And then coming to the label, I was just like, man, like I want Kirk on it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get Kirk on it. Like if I'm gonna do that. And they made it happen. And Kirk came out to Nashville. We got in the studio, man, and it was crazy. Like I posted it on my Instagram, but like as soon as he walked into the studio, before he like touched the mic, whatever, he got a text from a friend that something about the name had went gold. Like when he walked into the studio,
That's crazy.
So I was like, oh yeah, like
It's
this
time.
Yeah, it was
It's
time.
time.
It was
It's
just
time.
time.
Yeah.
It was just time. I love it. Which is just crazy, like how that happened. I did a camp for my album this time. Like my albums before, like it was always just kind of like me and Cole, like in the studio, just me and him just doing it. And so for this one, I just kind of wanted to get some of my friends together, get in the crib and make some music. And so we did like 3 days, and that song actually came on the first day, first session.
Sheesh.
First day, first session. We got in there. Shout out to 95. He produced that beat, and I was just like, yeah, nah, this is it. And I got the I love it thing, like the I love it, like immediately. It just came to me. And then as we just started piecing it together, it's just like, it's kind of about what I was talking about, like just the life, the ups and downs that come with life, and loving it all. Cause it's like, even though like,
that's
you know
good.
what I'm saying? Like,
For sure.
even though like, cause I feel like some people get that misconstrued of like, oh, nah, he's just talking about how great his life is. It's just like, nah, if you listen to the album, you see I've been going through a lot of
For
things,
sure,
but
for sure.
just being in God, like it's a sense of peace, man. That's you know what I'm saying? That's
I think that record's got some more legs on it. I feel like,
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I won't be surprised that song goes if it has like a viral moment.
Yeah.
It's got that ingredient to me.
For sure. Yeah.
Sonically, the thing, I love it. It's very relatable. So
Yeah.
I'm rooting for that record.
Nah,
to do
yeah,
some work.
appreciate it. Yeah, like, yeah, for sure. Me and my friends talk about it all the time. It's like, it's going crazy, but like, we know it's gonna hit another thing. Like, always.
It's gonna hit a little
for sure.
something. So.
Nah, appreciate it, bro.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
I see it. I see you out here hitting little hit maker. You know what I'm saying? No, it's good. I mean, you and you've been very consistent. So
Yeah.
I think, you know, you have the space the Christian hip hop is a very small space of a
Yeah.
very small industry,
Mhm.
and so there can be like this infighting and this competitive nature, which I am for competition to make us
Yeah.
better.
Right,
But
right.
sometimes there can be this competition of I'm trying to suppress someone else's momentum and movement.
Yeah.
And I think
Nah.
that's corny.
Yeah.
But I feel like there have been moments where, you know, there's been artists here or even me or even other artists where people are trying to squabble. But I've been trying to like make sure we leave room for us to sharpen each other
Yeah.
and get better and not try to compete directly
sure.
with each other. Because at the
Nah,
end of the day,
absolutely.
you being successful is great.
Yes.
Whether
yes.
you with us or not, or whether,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good, so we should all be rooting for it. So
Nah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely like when I was younger, like I said, Michael Jordan syndrome, like
Yeah.
I had that. Like when I was young, I was, you know what I'm saying, 18, whatever, I would definitely have, I was just like, yeah, nah. But definitely now, like 25, I'm just kind of like, like you said, like it's competitive in the sense of like, I don't know, healthy competition.
Yeah, sure.
Because I definitely like, I love seeing like everybody win right now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, and you know what I'm saying? It's a difference between like going viral and people that's like actually doing it. Like I rocks with the people that's like, you know what I'm saying? Even Hovey, like that's the bro. Like he actually doing it, killing this thing. I like, you know what I'm saying? All the songs that he been dropping, like we be talking like, I'm like, bro, you be going crazy. And he hit me too, like he loved the album.
Yeah,
so I'm
he
like,
did.
Man, I love stuff like that. So
yeah, it's like we need to, it's like, let's celebrate each other's wins.
yeah,
Let's make each other better.
absolutely.
But let's not tear each other down in
Never.
competition. Because
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
not godly. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
not at all, not at all,
Yeah,
not
so,
at all.
yeah.
For sure.
I love it. You know what
I
I'm
want
saying?
to dive into a transparent one. What it's like.
Yeah.
That was one that was listening to it. You hear a lot of transparencies that you dive into. Can you dive into that
Yeah.
record a little bit?
Yeah. Like I said, it's going through a bunch of things. Dealing with business relationships, dealing with whatever. That's kind of like the first verse. But the main thing about it, like I get into like my family situations. And so when I started my career, at like 18, I moved to Nashville. My parents got a divorce. And so when they got a divorce, it was kind of like I was kind of doing my thing. Like I was on the road. Like, so I wasn't trying to let it affect me as much. But it hit me the first time, like when I came back home and I had to go to 2 different households. I was like, okay, like this is new, like whatever. But I still felt like I hadn't really like dealt with it like that. I just kind of was moving, like, and I'm the oldest. I got 2 little sisters, so I was like, I always kind of had to be like the strong one. You know what I mean? And so just moving, just whatever, like I just looked up, man, and it was just like they have been like up and down, back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And then, like I said, I lost my grandma, my dad's mom, last year too. And so that sent my dad into like a pretty bad place, you know what I'm saying? And so I think my dad just kind of like looked up and, you know what I'm saying, realized like, you know what I'm saying? It's like he didn't like where it was feel like he didn't like how he was feeling in the moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? The family was kind of broke up. Like he just lost his mom, the whole 9. And so honestly, I was working on this album. I literally had just got food and I was, you know what I'm saying, about to make some music with a homeboy that I came in town. and I get a call from my little sister, and my youngest little sister that's still living home with my parents, like, you know what I'm saying? She don't really call like that. Like, I know when she called, like, it's probably something. So I immediately felt I don't know if you felt like this, but if like something's going down, I immediately felt the feeling seeing her, you know what I'm saying, call. And so she called me and she was just kind of like, yeah, like, I'm outside, like, Dad's house right now, whatever. Like, the cops are here. And my dad had, you know what I'm saying, he didn't do it, but he had planned on taking his life. Like, he had wrote us letters, the whole nine. And so I stopped everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? I canceled all sessions, whatever. I drove back to Bristol. And while I'm driving back to Bristol, I'm just talking to my homeboy, like, man, what is going on? Like, I'm sad, but I'm also like just upset because I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I talk to my dad all the time, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, this is crazy. And so when I get back, you know what I'm saying, the next day we kind of have like a family meeting, and you know what I'm saying, if I'm being 100, like me and my dad kind of like just went at it, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just kind of like, man, like, you're not realizing that, you know what I'm saying, you doing that would have kind of like, I understand that you messed up, but like it would have messed up all of us, you know what I mean? And so long story short, like I went back to Nashville, we kind of hashed it out, like we had a whole family meeting, whatever. And my dad was just basically saying like he had got to a low place, he wanted his family back, he wanted whatever, like he wanted to whatever. And so I was talking to my dad like the next couple days, and like the last day that I was talking to him, like he was like, man, like I realized I need to rededicate my life back to God. And so what it's like is just kind of like really talking about like the things that I was going through. So it's like, you don't know what it's like. You don't feel me, like, cause it's like at the same time this is happening, I'm working on the album. I'm like, there's so much things that I'm having to deal with. But I did this on purpose. Like the next record is called Proof. And the song is like, I don't need to see any more proof to know what God could do, because working on a record, like, I mean, not working on a record, like driving back from home from Virginia, my homeboy was just kind of like, man, like it's been a good day. And I was like, man, what are you talking about? It's been like one of the craziest days of my life. He was just like, nah, like you got to look at it a different side. Like your pops didn't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you made it here safely. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything is good. And I just kind of asked myself the question of like, why do I always worry, you know what I'm saying, when God has proven himself over and over again? Like,
that's good.
He keeps proving himself. Like,
sure.
We go through things all the time. Like you know what I'm saying, we go through situations, but if we being 100, like we still standing here today because God proves that he loves us, he cares, and he got things under control.
Talk about it, bro.
And so case in point, like my dad rededicated his life back to God. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He got back with my mom's. Like,
oh wow, they back together?
They back together.
What? Talk about it.
Blessing, man.
Like, it's like, bro,
God redeems, bro.
God redeems, bro.
Restores.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's really crazy. Like, and they're in a better, like, the best place that I've ever, you know what I'm saying, seen them before. And so, yeah, man, like, I don't need to see any more proof to know what God can do. It's like, things are going to happen. God, honestly, he promises us that things will happen, but he promises that he'll be with us
for sure
the whole time.
How's your sisters and your family thriving, or, you know, since that like kind of reconnection story? Yeah, I think for, honestly, if I'm keeping it 100, my sisters was kind of like more slow to, like, you know what I'm saying, believe it. You know what I mean? Sure, you know what I'm saying? More slow to believe it, but like, man, like the fruit is in the fruit. Like the fruit is in the fruit. I feel you,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the fruit is in the fruit. And so now it's just kind of like, man, like,
yeah, they're
realizing that, you know what I'm saying, my dad is like,
and do you feel like as a you're 25 now, as like a how has that impacted your maturity and growth in terms of your family, like being like, because you're married now, you got a home, you've been how has your maturity kind of developed out of all these things as a man? Because you're not a kid, you're a grown man now, crazy.
Bro. Nah, man, I mean, I feel like you hearing it in the music, like it just kind of like it matured me in ways that I never would have known. Like, and I'm grateful. That's kind of like going back to the Toby thing, like what Toby wanted me to do, like going through high school, going through whatever, like letting that mature me in a way to be ready for, you know what I'm saying, what I had to. So I'm like, man, like we go through things for reasons, and I feel like this album is kind of like speaking to the people that's been going through those things. It's like, it's people that parents are divorced, they're still divorced now, you know what I'm saying, and just giving them hope in a sense. Because I'm not gonna cap, like when my parents got divorced, I was like, yeah, like it's over, like it's a wrap, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So just seeing that, man, like the proof of God and the faithfulness of God, bro, it's just like, man, like it matured me and changed me in ways, and you know what I'm saying, I never would have imagined.
That's so good, dog. Yeah.
So I know a lot of people are so grateful that not even because you touched on so many stories, and I'm grateful you did.
Yeah.
But not even just through the music and even just you being here, but just like the life you're living. Like you sharing that on social media was a big thing about your parents and things like that.
Nah.
And I'm grateful the fact that you're able to live out loud the moments from 3 years old, 15, all the way to today, bro. And we're so grateful and so happy for you here. And we're happy that you're able to pull through. Yeah. Any final words of encouragement you want to leave with everyone listening?
Man, I would just say, like, I've kind of been saying it, like, even going with the album, it's kind of like, just know, like, with this album, I kind of wanted to just show the reality of situations, because I feel like people think faith is the disregarding of reality. I've said it before. Like, faith is not the disregarding of reality. It's just belief in a greater reality. It's belief that, you know what I'm saying, God's going to do what he said he's going to do. And so, and if you got faith, man, like, just know, like, God's going to do what he said he's going to do. That doesn't mean that you have to, you know what I'm saying, disregard your reality or what you're going through, but just know, like, you serve a God that, you know what I'm saying, cares and loves you. So.
That's real, man. That's Aaron Cole here on the 116 Life, man. Pulling through, man. That's another great episode here on the 116 Life. Ace Harris, Meah Evans. We'll catch you guys next week.